Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at, please excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat, but it's not COVID. I took the test yesterday. I'm a little congested. So we take a look at headlines from our city, from our state, from our country. We take a look at things to do, places to go, and we recommend them while we also take a look at your comments and ideas and suggestions, all with one purpose: to create better connections among ourselves, to create better connections with our city, Puerto Vallarta, and to create better connections and understanding with Mexico's way of life, our culture, our thoughts, our politics, you name it. Let's see. Today is Thursday, January 5th, and we have a little bit of news to share with you. As always, it is always a pleasure to see you all, and it is always a pleasure to welcome those of you that join us from other places. And it's also wonderful to read from those of you that are watching live for the first time. If that is your case, if you write the word new in a comment, we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. If there's something really important on your mind, if you add a capital letter Q to the beginning of your comment, you increase the chances that we'll find it in the second half of our broadcast. So today, some news. Today, the leisurely section is going to be mostly and largely about performing arts. It is showtime season, and I'll tell you why. And not only in Puerto Vallarta, also in Guadalajara. What I'm going to do today is show you the four websites that I consider indispensable to keep an eye on if you want to learn more about what's going on in Guadalajara when it comes to performing arts. They're not the only ones, but these are the ones that I check every week. Every week. I don't wait for Facebook to let me know what's going on. I am proactive in that effect. And I'm going to share them with you today in case you enjoy the city performing arts as much as I do. So let's take a look at all this stuff, and we'll take it from there. It is so funny as we go into the news. I see a question from Terry saying, is it going to be more crowded than usual in Centro tomorrow because of Epiphany? Well, I mean, everywhere you look, Puerto Vallarta seems to have tourists all the time this time of year. Some of them are going about their business outdoors. Some of them are sitting down to eat at the huge variety of eating options available in the city. But who's looking after them when they do choose to sit down at restaurants? Eva Sanchez from the River Cafe seems to be the go-to restaurant owner everybody wants to interview. And once again, She has affirmed that things got a little intense over the December holidays with so many people wanting to be taken care of and so little wait staff. We've been announcing this for several months. We foresaw that that vacation period would be rather interesting this year, and so it is. Eva, the owner of River Cafe, reported that she even had family members pitching in to do everything around the restaurant, from cleaning and cashiering and so forth, while workers were double shifting to keep the restaurant guests happy. Is there an end in sight to the continuing increase of tourism in Puerto Vallarta? Not in the near future. And is there an end in sight to the staffing problem that seems to affect not only Banderas Bay, but also many places around the world? We really don't know the answer to that one. So, back to Terry's very specific question: is it going to be more crowded than usual in Centro tomorrow because of Epiphany? Probably no. Maybe yes. It is so crowded as it is right now that honestly, I would just avoid El Centro just in case. Moving right along, and speaking of tourists, Puerto Vallarta's international airport exceeded its own predictions when it comes to number of passenger arrivals, with 6.2 million passengers arriving in 2022. This number is 23% higher than the number of arrivals in 2019. And of course, over 50% higher than in 2021, when we were still dealing with a pandemic. Our airport is one of 12 in the country, including the ones in Tijuana, Los Cabos, and Guadalajara, among others, that exceeded their pre-pandemic numbers. There are other interesting facts in this article, which of course is part of the show notes, including airlines, international airlines that are now opening new flights to our city. And at least in this case, we do know that a new airport extension is in the planning stages here in Puerto Vallarta. Don't know if they've started construction or when they will, but at least we can see a little bit of something that will alleviate airport problems sometime in the future. A couple of days ago, I posted a photo from Costco saying it's still pretty crowded in there. And some people made a reference to, well, it's crowded in there, but it doesn't compare to the Puerto Vallarta airport. I haven't gone through the airport in quite some time, but I can only imagine it must be pretty intense. And speaking of airports, U.S. President Joe Biden's security detail has arrived in Mexico City in anticipation of the summit he will attend along with Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Of course, the lingering question, excuse me, for anyone following Mexican politics is, will President Biden arrive by way of the new Felipe Ángeles International Airport as diplomatically suggested by Mexican President López Obrador, or will he arrive in the more centrically located Mexico City International Airport? We do know that President Monday is scheduled to arrive in Mexico City on Monday for what will be his first presidential visit to our country. We know that Justin Trudeau has already agreed to land on the new airport. We will wait and see what the security detail that accompanies President Biden will determine. And of course, as we mentioned before, this is important to Mexico's president because President López Obrador is the one who spearheaded the idea of turning the naval base, the Felipe Ángeles Naval Airport, into an international airport, despite the fact that it's far away from Mexico City. And he wants the new airport to be perceived as a safe and secure facility. And this is our formal news for today. Let us take a quick look at the weather to see if my nose is going to continue to be sniffly for the rest of the day or not. Gotta love it when your nose gets all stuffed up. Anyhow, Well, this is personal, not for me, but Snarky Weather is forecasting 103 more rounds of voting before the next House Speaker is selected. Spoiler alert, it will be George Santos. I am going to refrain from commenting, although I have been watching on TV. Uh, no, let's not go there. It's 26 degrees right now. Humidity is low, 46%, which is wonderful. Our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 80. And our weather forecast for today says clear through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 20. Tomorrow, Friday, we begin the weekend with a humid day, a high of 30 and a low of 18. And then on Saturday, a humid day again with a high of 30 and a low of 18. Okie dokie. So, I want to tell you at the beginning of this broadcast, I wrote a little comment saying that Showtime was on. And I definitely did not necessarily mean Showtime as in what we do here, but there is a series of really exciting performers coming, and in some cases coming back to Puerto Vallarta this month. And the glue that seems to hold many of them together is our dear friend and musical theater mentor, Mark Hartman, whom I call affectionately Dr. Hartman, because whenever I have any questions about musical theater, I always reach out to Mark. Mark, I had the pleasure of meeting quite a few years ago. He's now made it a habit to come into Puerto Vallarta and spend a part of the season here performing at Encanto. You can find him at the piano bar doing show tunes and all kinds of things. He is an accomplished accompanist. He's an accomplished New York based theater musical director, and he is an accompanist to many amazing cabaret singers in the city of New York. So not only is Mark coming back into town, but he seems to draw the attention and the appearance of many performers, some of which I've met in the past and I've had the chance of asking, so who are you playing with, or who's going to be your accompanist? And there's always this sigh of relief when they say it's Mark Hartman. Mark is so respected among his peer, it's not even funny. For example, he has already started a season or a series of performances with Brent Barrett. He will be accompanying, or has started accompanying, Brent Barrett in his My 40 Years on Broadway show. We had a pleasure of interviewing them last year, both Brent and Mark. We went to see the show, and Brent Barrett has a very impressive career on the Broadway stage. And another great performer that always makes his rounds here in Puerto Vallarta is Seth Sykes. He is an amazing cabaret singer. He loves his Barbara Streisand. He loves his Judy Garland. And I love his enthusiasm on stage. He is one of the most, you get happy watching him perform. And of course, both of them are going to be accompanied by our very own Mark Hartman. Then, of course, Seth Sykes is teaming with a gentleman by the name of Nicholas King. I don't have the pleasure of knowing Nicholas King, but they are showing up together as the New Belters. We know belting is this term in musical theater in the United States where if you sing very loudly and very beautifully, Ethel Merman, Judy Garland, they are the former belters. So according to this promotional feature, Seth Sykes and Nicholas King are the New Belters. They're going to be singing the Swinging American Songbook. So this should be another great performance with Mark Hartman at the piano. And last but not least, I told you yesterday, and I've told you last week, of our dear friend Gura Gabor's Wine and Cheese, which starts this coming Monday with Mark Hartman again on the piano. So as you can see, Mark Hartman is indeed the glue to many, many wonderful performances. You know that I don't talk about local performances very often, But if I see Mark's name on I didn't mean to do that. If I see Mark's name on the poster, then I totally get very excited. And of course, I announced yesterday that I've been invited to be the guest at Gouda Gabor and Mark Hartman's first night at Encanto. This is going to be this coming Monday. Gouda, aside from doing their musical thing, is introducing a series of short interviews with local people. And I was the first person that she chose to invite. So I'm really, really touched. Gouda has even offered a special promotion. If you want to get a discount getting tickets for her show on Monday, there is one discount available if you buy the tickets online, and I'll give you the link in the show notes. All you have to do is introduce the word cheese at checkout, and you will get a little bit of a discount. Also, and not affiliated or associated with Mark, at least not on the stage, I do want to mention that our dear friend Zoe Lewis is also back in town. She's an amazing piano player, singer, storyteller, songwriter, multi instrumentalist. And every time I watch Zoe on stage, I get excited. She has a way of telling stories that just makes you feel good. She makes you feel good. And I'm looking forward to connecting with Zoe as we have in the past. We've done a little interview with her before. I'm going to look it up and dust it up so that I can share the link with you. And this is what's going on with the local entertainment scene, or at least the parts of the scene, some of the aspects of the local entertainment scene that I pay attention to. But I was having lunch. No, I was having wine, a glass of wine, with a local performer the other day who, like me, enjoys the finer musical options that many times are not even available here in Puerto Vallarta. And I talked about how much I enjoy keeping an eye on what's going on in Guadalajara. And she says to me, "Well, where do you find the concerts?" And I told her, well, every week, I don't wait for Facebook to let me know, because if I try to wait for Facebook, I may or may not get the information. But every week I have a reminder on my computer to go look at 4 essential websites in Guadalajara when it comes to live music performances and some theater, some dance, and so forth and so on. And I'm going to show you these 4 websites today in case you want to develop the habit of being proactive with finding out what's going on and not missing on the wonderful opportunities to go to Guadalajara to enjoy great concerts. And the 4 websites, in no particular order, are, first of all, it's the Jalisco Philharmonic website. This is their homepage, and usually they have all their concerts here. Right now, the Jalisco Philharmonic has finished their 2022 season, so they haven't announced the new season just yet. But this is where I go to find out what's going on with the Jalisco Philharmonic, their own website. Next on my list is the Santander Performing Arts Complex, which is a fairly new, I don't think it's been there for more than 10 years. It's a gorgeous theater complex. There's a couple of stages there. There's an outdoor space. It's a beautifully designed theater. Here is where the Met offers their broadcasts of live opera from New York. But there's also other concerts available. Some of them include classical music. Some of them are other types of music. There is a performance coming up with Bugs Bunny at the Symphony. This one caught my attention. There is a performance by the America Soloists Orchestra that is coming up in February. They're going to perform 3-string serenades, the one composed by Mozart, the one composed by Tchaikovsky, the one composed by Elgar. But then there's other concerts as well, and performances that are not necessarily only classical. So I make it a point to looking at this on a regular basis. Then there's Teatro Diana, Teatro Diana is one of the oldest cultural theaters in Puerto Vallarta. Well, not the oldest, it's been around for some time. And Teatro Diana features a lot of pop and rock performances as well. For example, right now, Diego Torres, if you like Latin American music, Diego Torres is going to be there. He's from Argentina and he's amazing. Um, let's see what else we have. There's a dance company from Turkey that is going to be performing there. Interesting. Um, and Oh, Fonseca, and another amazing singer and songwriter from Colombia, is coming. This one I was really excited about. Dead Can Dance was going to perform in Guadalajara. Unfortunately, they had to cancel. But this is another website that I pay a lot of attention to. And last but not least, there is Ticketmaster Mexico. And in Ticketmaster Mexico, you can actually home in on the city of your choice. So I always keep the bookmark for Ticketmaster Guadalajara. There is some overlap in concerts available here and in the other websites that I've shown you because they all, or many of them, channel their ticket sales through Ticketmaster. But if I want to find out what's going on, these are the four websites that I enjoy taking a look at on a regular basis, and I'll be happy to leave them in the show notes for you to explore at your leisure. Now, let's take a look at your comments. Let's see. Good mornings as usual. Thank you very much. Oh, how fun. Brian and his hubby are heading to Guadalajara. I know that Brian and Luisa are very good friends, and I'm sure that they're going to have a wonderful time in Guadalajara. Can't wait to hear the details. Water everywhere. Yes, I've heard that there's a lot of weather going on in California. Let's see. Luisa says that Brian and his husband are coming on the Chachalaca bus, which means they're going to be giddy and laughing. I love it. Good morning from Victoria, says Jonathan White. That's lovely. There's a queue. Oh, we looked at that already. Is it going to be more crowded than usual in Centro tomorrow? Terry, it is what it is, for better or worse. If you have things to do in El Centro, just set your mindset accordingly. And I mean, at least that's what I do. Because at the same time as not wanting to be around crowds, we cannot be, sequestered away forever at home. A friend that I told about River Cafe needing wait staff told me they are known for low pay and they keep all the tips that the staff should get. Well, I don't know if that is a fact or not, Bob, but what seems to be an underlying theme to all these staff shortages is precisely that. The fact that during the pandemic, a lot of people realized, well, we don't have to go and work at these places with the pay that they have. So there must be some intense pressure going on with not only restaurants, but other businesses to up the ante when it comes to salary and when it comes to benefits for their employees. And let us remember that, Congress just approved doubling the amount of vacation days, paid vacation days for employees that have reached their first year mark with any company. So things are changing. That's definitely for sure. Barbara says, heading to Emiliano Zapata this afternoon, will negotiate the crowds. Well, that's the way I look at it. What I do now whenever I have to go into Emiliano Zapata is I try to group my commitments there, or the things I have to do, and try to get them out of the way, just doing it all at the same time. Mark says, went to Whiskey Kitchen last night, and while we didn't see Gina or Harry, we did see Blues You Can Use. a blues duo, very good music. I recommend them if you like the blues. Thank you very much for that, Mark. Yes, Gina has increased the number of live performers that she has. It's a lot of fun to spend the evenings at Whiskey Kitchen. Robin, hello, Robin. Robin Spencer, I had the pleasure of bumping into yesterday at Whiskey Kitchen. I was having lunch there. And Robin, of course, has a company that is called, oh dear, Pig Out Groceries, maybe? I don't remember. But if you need somebody to do your groceries for you, Robin Spencer is the person to go and connect with. Diana chimes in, the wages in Mexico need to change for sure. Well, I'm totally with you. I am grateful that I don't have wages to worry about. Luna is not an expensive worker. But yes, times are changing in that regard, and we'll see what is going to be going on in the future. And speaking of future, we've reached the end of today's broadcast. As always, I thank you for keeping me company. I thank you for your good wishes for my congested nose. I think it's just allergies. And we'll be back tomorrow. We will continue to report on news, and we will continue to keep an eye on wonderful things as usual so we can share them with you. So go out there and enjoy the beautiful winter weather. Stay kind, avoid crowds, take care of each other, and come back soon. Bye.